bit what are web game developers working behind the scenes. And as usual, I like to start by addressing the elephant in the room. So I would like to start by asking you guys, so over the last couple of months, year, we saw the rise and fall of a big Web3 game like Axie Infinity, and we kind of saw the narrative of play to earn fade away a bit. I would like to ask you guys, and whoever wants to take the question is more than welcome, what are your main key takeaways, or your main lessons that you learned from this big rise and fall of Axie Infinity and other games that you might seem to recall? Whoever wants to take it, go ahead. Tiago, you want to go ahead?
Hello? Yeah, it's working. So basically, my take on Web3 is I don't believe play to earn is a good thing. So I'm a gamer. I'm also a game developer, but before that, I was a gamer, and I got into game development because I'm a gamer. I started making games when I learned to read, basically. So I'm definitely someone who cherishes and is really passionate about game development. And I know that a lot of people will resonate with this, that our intrinsic motivation for playing the game, it's something that is inside us. We feel pleasure of playing games. We want to play games because games is an activity that gives us pleasure. When that becomes a job, then you're just playing for, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to just play. I don't know if I can say fuck it, but
you can, of course.
But that's a real problem. So you take the virtue of something that it's really tied into us as a species, because we've been playing since antiquity, been playing since, I dare to say, since early history. And you're subverting it into something that is not quite right. Richard Bardwell, a very famous game designer, recently said that if you were paid to read, you wouldn't care much about reading. You'd just be reading to make money, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot just pay people to play. I strongly believe that should be something that you get as a side reward or something like that, and not the main motivation for getting players into games.
So the priorities should be switched, right? You should start by the essence, which is actual gaming and enjoying, and
yeah, absolutely.
The economy should come later, or if at all, right?
Yeah, because what's the greatest, in not just my opinion, people from game economics will tell you that one of the greatest KPI that you have is LTV. So getting people to stay engaged with your games, it's something that you cannot buy that shit. So you really need to make games engaging and interesting. And then if people are engaged enough, and if people think that, okay, maybe I could be getting a reward out of all these hours that I put into this game. It's like people who are into esports, I strongly believe that they love gaming. Or at least they started esports because they loved gaming, right? It's not the other way around, at least in the majority of cases.
Yeah.
So I guess that the games comes first. And everything else is something that you add upon to bring value to the players. Not out of greed or out of just gonna make a quick buck, or, that's the problem. There's plenty of scammers and that really weird crypto bro mentality in Web3 gaming that simply doesn't work and should be killed with fire. So you definitely need games for people who are passionate about games. And if you have that, then you add the extra layer.
Yeah, it's like an add-on, right?
Yeah.
An extra layer.
Yeah, because everyone is very suspicious of Web3 gaming.
Sure.
So you really need to make things right and not fuck up.
Yeah, I agree. Well, sometimes seen as grifters almost, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
So the motivation should start with the essence. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Anyone else would like to chime in? Is it?
Okay. So the games in category play to earn used to be popular very much. Yeah. But right now, I think we have to emphasize on the category play and earn. So there is a part of playing, it's the most important, and the earn is not so important, have to be so important for the players because they just have fun from the playing. In the Wecan, we have two core games. One of it, like Prospectors IAM, it's play to earn game, but it's one of the most popular games on VAX for more than 2 years. And I think it's because of this nice part, and it's interesting to play. So the earning is additional part to it, and not the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I also want to add some couple of things. Like, I mean, when it comes to the gaming, so play always needs to come first. So we need to remove the earn part. So what we believe is, if everyone earns, then there is no, you will have speculated or inflationary token at the end. So what we think is, we are coming from the Web2 gaming, so we are Web2 game publishers on mobile. We publish more than 12 games and still have 500,000 daily active users. Our main revenue model is coming from in-app purchases. So what we think is, like, we always tell the same thing. Like, if your game has retention, good metrics, so you can eventually find a good monetization model on it.
Exactly.
So if you start thinking about how to earn money beforehand, before even thinking about the game and the fun aspect, I mean, most likely you will end up not being successful enough. But so we are also developing and exploring the blockchain gaming, but we don't want to call it, we are blockchain games. We call it like a games, like we are developing games, but using blockchain technology for microtransactions and everything. So we don't have tokens, so we mostly focus on the NFT and digital ownership part of it. And I think I totally agree. But if there's always an earn aspect, so people will start forgetting about the play aspect. So, and as my partner said, like, it will become as a job. And then if you work as a 9 to 5, so you get bored. So you need to keep the fun part.
So in this case, the product is even more important because it's the connection you make to the player, right? So if you start with the monetization up front, you'll most likely fail, right, as a product?
Yes, of course. Like, I mean, if you have enough amount of daily active users or like installers or active wallets, then you can start thinking about, okay, so I have a good game and fun game. Now, how can I start making money?
Yeah.
So, and when you do that, your the community and your player is there. So if you want to launch a token, just not launch a token at the first, but then when you have a base player, so when you want to launch a token, you will have instant demand on that token. So, I mean, I think it's the best approach.
Sure. Mark.
Okay, I'm gonna be super quick, and I love to address the elephant in the room. I love it. So let's be honest. Can we all agree to kill the fucking buzzwords? If we kill the buzzwords, gamers will accept that. If we stop selling projects for real gamers, like the next best game on Web3 that has the best metaverse and all of that. I mean, a game is a game. It doesn't matter the platform. We came from the PC and console, and I mean, we can say that, okay, we came from the Web 2. And I think it's funny that now that the Web 3, I mean, it's not working out. Just look at Infinity Access and others, Access Infinity, I'm sorry. It's just not working out. And I think it's funny that once people realize that, well, Web 3 is not working out, but wait, let's create Web 2.5. So it's backwards. We should have thought about Web 2.5 first,
before,
and then 3.0. I mean, we are humans. We need to go, on phases. We don't like we don't like subtle, I mean, those kind of changes right away. Just look at what happened when the model free-to-play came up. People hate it. People thought it was impossible. A free-to-play? What is that? It's working.
Yeah.
You know? When Fortnite came up with, I mean, not only Fortnite, but other games came up with the seasons, like, how can you make money with seasons? But that's weird. I'm going to pay all the time to get different games, but it's the same game. Well, it's working. So it's just a matter of, I mean, we need community. We need to bring the players in. We need to bring gamers in. And it's not talking about Web3 that you're going to bring gamers. It's talking about gameplay. It's talking about quality. It's talking about real retention. I mean, you have to come back to the game because the game is good. And then, well, if there's a parallel market for NFTs and tokens and all of that, awesome, cool.
It's a plus.
But it's something that comes after.
Yeah.
At least at RedCatPig, that's what we believe. It's something that comes after. Game comes first.
Yeah, I think we're all on board and on the same page here. And it's actually interesting because a lot of you already mentioned about how gamers are reacting to this Web3 space, and we've seen that they're still not on board with this Web3 industry, and some of them even push back or even react aggressively, like me and you, Mark, were chatting just earlier. In your opinion, how do you guys see the challenges of marketing Web3 games to a Web2 market? So what do you see as the main barriers or things that we as an industry need to change or somehow go around to better reach those markets? Who wants? Yeah.
Well, can I go first now?
Of course, yeah.
The next one is you, okay? All right. I mean, in my opinion, just change the narrative. Just change the narrative. I mean, I've done a bunch of tests, which is if you come to a gamer and you say, hey, imagine that you have this game and you can actually own the digital assets that you buy. And if you get tired of it, next day you can sell it. Well, if you make money, good. If you don't make money, well, whatever, but it's yours.
At least you enjoyed the game, right?
Exactly. I mean, they all love the idea. Any gamer would love that idea. I mean, a CS gamer, a Fortnite player, whatever, they all love that idea of having the ability of buying and selling cosmetics on a parallel market or even on in-game store. They all love it. But on the moment that you say that, hey, look at this Web3 game that has amazing NFTs and is on the blockchain, forget about it. You lost it. So it's just a matter of narrative. It's just a matter of narrative. Also, what helps a lot also is if the gamer that you're talking to, if they have children that is spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars or euros a month on freaking Fortnite skins that it doesn't belong to them. So that also helps.
And
you know?
the next month the game gets discontinued and all of that money goes down the drain, right?
Exactly.
I agree. Zhenia, you guys would like to jump in as well?
I like the idea about changing the narrative. Also, I want to add that this game has to be easy to begin with. Yeah. So all of these difficult registration, like add your wallet, and firstly you have to set up this wallet. And so I can talk about perspectives of our games. Right now we have our Planet app, and it's easy. You have to just download. It's not itself on blockchain. It's just app you have to download and begin to play. You don't need to use any wallet at the beginning. You just have to play the strategy game. So it's for all fans of strategy game. But later in the game, you can open for yourself this NFTs vault. You can find that somebody used the NFTs to boost himself in the game, and later you can win the valuable NFTs. And only then you can use it. You can set up the wallet and withdraw these NFTs and sell it.
But it's like an optional feature that the player can discover.
You can use it, or you can not use it if you don't want to deep in those crypto and blockchain.
You only dive in if you actually want to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's optional here.
Tiago, you want to jump in?
Yeah. Just, even before the whole games thing, marketing also comes to recruitment.
Yeah.
Being game developers at heart, it's really hard when we want to hire seasoned and experienced professionals. As soon as Web3 comes to the conversation, like, oh yeah, not interested.
They're out.
Because people are burned. At the very core of the industry, it's like a lot of people hate to talk about Web3, or they just don't care about games that mention Web3. So we've suffered that. I mean, we're building an MMO, AAA MMO, blah, 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 has a very strong AI component, which is potentially, I don't know, bigger than the Web3 element, although we do have a Web3 element. And we try to get people involved. I mean, we have a really great team. But I've seen many situations where they say, oh, you guys have a Web3 game. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Not my thing. And then comes the other part for the perception of the end users. So yeah, it's hard to market. And Marco is saying something that's really important, the buzzwords.
Yeah.
You cannot just, it's like when you read every single white paper, it's like same words, DeFi, DAO, the metaverse.
Bridging
It's
the
like
gap.
people never read, most people say metaverse, they never read Snow Crash. How fucked up is that? So, I don't know, we definitely need to end that part. And another thing is, I'm just gonna throw a question out there. This is always a risk to do it live, but show of hands, who here has ever played a game that later on got discontinued, but he still loved the game?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so a few. I would have loved to have some memorabilia of that game. NFTs can solve the problem. Like,
Yeah.
even if something that I'm very skeptical about, which is the interchangeable nature between games of items, of NFTs, I don't really dig that, but even at the very least, if I have a memory of all the time I spent at a game, that would have been awesome. And that's why I think NFTs are a great use case. I mean, you've already spent all the time in
so
a
many
game.
time, right?
Why not get something out of it? You don't get anything out of it from a lot of well-known games. So if you're getting something out of it, that's cool.
For sure, for sure. Ibrahim, would you like to say something?
Just like I agree for all of it, but I agree on the buzzword part as well, because as you can see also, you can check the Facebook and Instagram. We're going to launch the NFT. You can just show your NFT, but they don't call it NFT. They call it digital collectibles, because they know that the NFT, crypto, DeFi, gamify, metaverse, those words have bad reputation, and it's our duty to change this reputation. So we don't need to use those words. And also, on the other hand, I also agree that part that is we need to remove all the barriers on onboarding. So just let people play the game. And when people play, when they can enjoy, and then when it's important to that player to have it on their own wallet, so you gave the option to, you can give the option that, okay, you can mint this NFT and hold it as yours. Or otherwise, you can keep playing without even interacting with the on-chain data. I think this can be the good approach as well, but this is the best one. On the other hand, these are the narrative and the onboarding part, but we also need to think the performance marketing side as well. So because we are coming from the performance marketing where we just do the marketing on the social platforms and all the networks as well. Right now, what we're seeing is on the Web3, we have problems with the platforms. So most of the platforms are just bans the words, those buzzwords.
Yeah.
So we will need, we also need to have, we also need to link the people with their wallets and identifiers. On the mobile, we have IDFA or IDFE where we can understand this player is a spender. But right now, we can do it on the blockchain, but we don't have the great tools that emphasize this kind of traction. So I can easily see that, okay, there's this wallet who spends thousands of dollars on Axie Infinity, so I can just do the performance marketing on that account, and I can easily onboard that player as well. So this is also another option. But it's good. But I think we will come that point in the future, and people will start seeing the games that uses the blockchain under hood without even know that that game has blockchain on it.
It's actually pretty interesting that you're mentioning tools, because it's actually connected to my next question. But I think we can all agree that to better market to Web2 audiences, we would need to drop the jargon words and make it as simple or frictionless in terms of onboarding and for the user to actually access the game and then dive into blockchain if they choose so. But my next question is, and this connects to what you were saying about the tools. We've seen that our industry is capable of great innovation, great speed of development. But recently, A16Z actually published, their fund published a report regarding about there aren't many tooling companies for Web3 gaming. And I would like to ask you guys, what do you currently feel are the main challenges about integrating your game or other games of the industry with the Web3 tooling and capabilities, basically? What do you feel are the main challenges that you feel like are in the horizon?
I told tools, so let me just start. I think it's a good approach. As I told you, we're also trying to find good tools out there. But on the mobile gaming, we are using a lot of tools from attribution to marketing and all the stuff. So, but this because the market is here since 2011, since the first iPad just came out. But right now we are in a kind of baby sector market right now. So and people are trying to, the build up the good tools. And I also believe that we will have more tools in the future. But to be able to develop tools, first you need to have the game or some product that tools can use it. Otherwise, you will not have any use cases. Because imagine that in the history, when it's a gold rush on San Francisco, instead of searching for a gold, people made millions of dollars by selling the shovels. I'm just like telling the same thing. Like instead of a developing game, developing tools also something different, but different skill set, different mindset. But it's true, but we don't have better tools right now. We can have it later. I know a lot of companies, a lot of startups are trying to do it. And by using those kind of tools, we will be also able to both developing the games, using the blockchain technology, or doing the analytics on the blockchain easily, and it helps game developers to build something niche, something more fun at the end.
Yeah, that's quite a challenge. In my perspective, it's like we've been, for the last decades, catering to issues like how can we do this by having more performance, like we're cutting down milliseconds, or we are reducing the amount of RAM that we are using on a certain frame, or we have a rendering issue. But only recently are we having to do, how do we integrate with MetaMask? Like MetaMask recently, they released a plugin for Unity.
Yeah.
Unreal, they're just working on it, although you can do your own integration. So those are the new challenges. So we are very experienced in this, on this architectural level in games, but most of us aren't that experienced in the Web3 side of things. So that demands that we go back to school, so to speak, and learn how do these protocols work, how they do the integration, because one, you need to have that knowledge, and two, it can be easily scanned by someone that you hire to do the job for you. So that's the kind of knowledge that is really crucial for teams working on Web3 games or games with a Web3 element. that they should achieve. I believe that the new tech is the challenge per se,
Yeah.
and the integration with the actual industry-proven technologies and architectures and tools, because there aren't that many tools available.
Exactly.
And most of the times, it's like when we work in game development, you're like drawing the same picture by using different strategies every single time. And in this case, yeah, I'm not sure there will be a one-size-fits-all situation, but we definitely can be better than where we are right now.
For sure. It's really hard to trailblaze in this industry, right?
Yeah.
With low set of tools. I agree.
Yeah.
Mark, Zhenia, would you like to add anything?
Like from our own experience from our team, it's not difficult to think about tools because our way was like from Web3 to Web2, because right now we are, our game is to have the audience of Web2 games, yeah. So our developers were experienced in all Web3 technologies and tools. So yeah, we just go in the different directions, and I think it's great to have all those experience and not make the more difficult game, but simpler ones. Because our first game was fully on blockchain, so all steps, all game actions were within the smart contracts, yeah. And there were some disadvantages of this because about the speed of game and the quality of the pictures, and that's why in the next game, Our Planet, we refused to build it totally on blockchain and just add the part, crypto part, like in the NFTs assets.
Great. Mark.
Yeah. In our case, super quick, we are trying to develop everything in-house, even the tooling and all of that. Even then, there is a few companies out there that are actually good at doing, interesting things in terms of tooling for Unreal in our case, which is the engine that we are using for our blockchain game. But we are trying to do most of the tooling in-house, which is not easy at all.
I was going to ask, that's a heavy work that you're taking on.
Yeah. We just want to try to keep everything indoors, but that's at least our approach on that department.
Okay, thanks. I guess my next question to you guys. We've seen for the past couple of years that the gaming industry is obviously going at a huge rate, right? And it's not going to stop any soon. We've seen from small games to big AAA games that have millions of users and keep on growing. I guess I'm curious, what are your thoughts on, for us to reach mass adoption, or at least to reach a huge number of users, do you believe that we would need to see the entrance of a big AAA game in our industry, or do you think that we are able as an industry to actually create our own AAA inside of Web3? I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are.
Well, let me start with that one. I think first and foremost, we need to perfect the way that things work in terms of user experience. It's not for the faint of heart to be able to have your own wallet and understand how things work and how you can interconnect with all different systems. It's like showing your grandma how to, there's this crypto thing. Don't you have a wallet? That's still not something that it's ready for mass adoption. So that's one of the things that needs to be better, in my opinion. And then, you said it right. There's got to be the need for an established brand, publisher, developer, whatever you want to call it, to come up with a really good product that will say, hey, Web3, We're not the bad guys here. So that people can understand that it doesn't need to be something weird like
That it's
Axie
legitimate,
Infinity.
right?
Yeah, it's legit. Yeah, a big name could help that. But also, it could be something, could be like, imagine VR. Everyone would think that the greatest hits in VR in terms of games would be like first-person shooters, like running around. But no, it's freaking Beat Saber. Like standing in the same spot, like cutting cubes. That's so genius and so easy. So maybe something else comes along that we're not expecting and becomes a real door opener.
And it's so simple that it's addictive, right?
Something. I think it comes down to simplicity.
Yeah.
When you perfect simplicity, it's like the other day someone was talking about, well, as you all know, some recent events on a company that got hacked and a lot of people lost their money. And someone was saying, yeah, I lost all my money, but I'm fortunate enough to be in this position where I can have a crypto wallet, where I can, when I know how to configure a crypto wallet and how to use it and how to buy things with it. So it's still not out there as a mass consumption product.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that we need to perfect that.
I agree.
I mean, I believe that big names coming in would be helpful most of the time. I mean, and we all have proofs of that already, that sometimes it might not be a good thing. They also screwed up sometimes. Just because they're big doesn't mean that they're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that they know how to do it. So it might be a good thing just for validation, that it's a good business model. It doesn't mean that they will portray a good
representation.
A good representation, yeah. Thank you. So on one hand, I see the value of it. On the other hand, I'm kind of, I don't know. So yeah, that's that. But for the common gamer player, of course, it is always a plus to have. I mean,
it's a boost in confidence.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like a stamp, at least of perceived quality.
Exactly.
Sometimes not always quality, right? Because they also mess up. But
yeah. But even us that, I mean, still don't belong to that. I mean, level of size in terms of company. It's also it's still our responsibility to deliver the best products possible with good intent, and I believe that helps a lot also. So yeah.
Agreed. Then did you guys like to jump in as well?
Also, I think we have to look at the situation from the different point of view, because I read the research that the NFTs usage will be very popular in 1 year or maybe 2 when it will be hype again. So a lot of popular Web2 games will implement those NFTs usage. And so I think later we don't have to divide those audience, and what we have to fight for, we have to present them high quality games, and that's the point, I think.
Quick add, like, I also think that, of course, those AAA studios have like a big amount of marketing power. So when they enter, most likely they will just bring more users to here. But we don't need to think. We can't think just for the AAA studios alone. So big brands also joining here, like Nike, Adidas, and others. All the fashion clothes. They're also bringing people here from the traditional way to blockchain. But we also need to keep developing the game. So we cannot wait them to enter. So we can just be in front of the line and start building the product here. When they join, we will be here, and it will also be a beneficial for us. But the developers right now that developing the games.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for that perspective as well. So we don't have much time. I would like to still ask you one more question, but we won't be able to actually get all of your feedback. So one quick question, just for a key takeaway of the audience. Do you have any projects or game or even studio that you use as a reference or a guiding for your own projects that you use like, okay, this is where I want to be in X amount of months, X amount of years. These guys are doing it right. Let me see what I can learn from them. Go ahead, Marco.
Hello. Well, I mean, we are on such of we are doing a we are going through a route where it's so unique and so new that, to be honest, and I don't want to sound cocky in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not. I don't see a model in front of me because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's a new thing. I mean, if you ask me if I'm looking into someone, there might be an example or anything like that, I don't know how to answer you because the stuff that is being done right now, most of the stuff I don't agree. So we are trying to do our own thing. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like what Tiago is doing. So.
But it's the hard part of being like an innovator, right? Sometimes
exactly.
you look to the left,
to
the left and to the right, you're actually alone.
Yeah, exactly. At least that's what I think every day when I look myself in the mirror. It's like I look at it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I guess now I have to give back. No, you guys should check Overshock. That it's.
By the way, Overshock.
I was shouting at the screen back then, so definitely something to look for. I really love the game. Competitive, very fast-paced action with over some things, and it's really great. It's amazing. I think those games have a real potential to captivate an audience. And when you've been captivated long enough, then yeah, definitely, potentially they'll want to go for the next step. I'm gonna throw in three other names. One, Decimated. Decimated is another Web3 title, but it's AAA, futuristic, cyberpunk-ish, RPG-ish, whatever, game that you should definitely be on the lookout. It sounds great. It's been way before Web3 gaming was cool. Then, obviously, we all know of Star Atlas. Star Atlas looks great. I don't know about the game myself, and although some team members have been on the in games, others haven't, and I'm like, I don't know, but let's see how that goes. It looks great. It looks fantastic. And then Will Wright, like a very famous game designer. I don't know if people have heard of SimCity, but he recently announced Vox World or Vox. I don't know. But the key premise of the game sounds amazing, and I think he's doing it the right way. So I would say that those are the projects to look for.
Thanks, Tiago. Any references, Ibrahim?
We don't have much time, but I'm also Overshock is the best one. No, not really. As a fan of Rocket League, but seeing the drones playing Rocket League is really cool. Yeah, I'm also I agree that like we are on the same boat together. We don't have a game or a title right now that will make me buy a PlayStation 5, something like that, on the Web3.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of games out there that doing one part of good and the others not bad. But we will have in the future more. Of course, Star Atlas is also doing a great thing when you see it's good, but it's complicated. But we have good games. We will come up they will come good games as well in the future. We will see them. I'm not saying that we will be one of them, but we will see.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Zhenia, any references?
I don't know about reference, but yeah, we have a vision which games we want to have, we want to develop, yeah. And what is important for us, it's good storytelling in the game, yeah. So I think the good storytelling, high quality game, and it's the game we want to see and we want to develop. So yeah, I think that's all.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you so much once again for your time and your knowledge. And everyone, round of applause for our speakers, and we'll be starting a new panel in a few moments. Thank you.